Today we're diving into a debate that's been heating up between Sir Jacob Rees-Mogg and Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer. It's all about Labour's latest tax pledge, what they're calling a tax promise for working people. But there's a bit of confusion over who exactly qualifies as working people. Jacob Rees-Mogg had a lot to say on the topic, and trust me, you're going to want to hear it. So here's the situation. Labour's new manifesto promises not to raise taxes on working people, which is supposed to be reassuring. They specifically ruled out raising VAT, national insurance, and income tax. But here's where things get murky. Reporters, politicians, and even everyday people are asking a critical question. Who exactly counts as a working person? When the Prime Minister was asked to clarify, he simply said, "The working people of this country know exactly who they are." But Rees-Mogg wasn't satisfied with that. On his show, he questioned if this term was as vague as it sounds. Rees-Mogg broke down Labour's promise, and he had some cutting remarks. He argued, if you're a working person, apparently you won't be affected by tax rises that are set to raise about £35 billion. But he then asked, the question is, who is a working person? Rees-Mogg poked fun at Labour's use of self-identification to define categories, saying, not only does Labour believe a woman is someone who identifies as one, but now a working person is anyone who identifies as one too. He joked about how vague this made things, adding, when asked about it, the Education Secretary, Bridget Phillipson, said cabinet ministers count as working people too, meaning people who earn £150,000 per year. Rees-Mogg noted that Pat McFadden, another Labour cabinet member, dismissed the question altogether, saying, working people isn't really the right way of looking at things. According to Rees-Mogg, this is politicians' favourite trick. If they don't like the question, they say, let's look at it another way. Convenient, isn't it? Then Rees-Mogg turned up the satire, suggesting that if anyone could self-identify as a working person, maybe they wouldn't be taxed. He joked, define yourself as a working person, and voila, no tax. Now, here's where things get serious. Rees-Mogg accused Labour of planning to raise employer national insurance contributions, which he says is a clear break from their promise. Labour's manifesto specifically says, we will not increase taxes on working people, yet here we are, discussing a tax rise for employers that could ultimately impact workers. Rees-Mogg pointed out that employers have a limited budget, and raising their costs means they'll have to pull money from somewhere. It's the same pot that funds employees' wages and benefits, so to him, this is still a tax on working people. But that's not all. There's also talk of a fuel duty increase. And with 70% of working people commuting by car, Rees-Mogg argued this would hit them hard. He took a jab at Labour's supposed London-centric view, mentioning how they might assume everyone gets around like Londoners, where only 29% commute by car. Finally, Rees-Mogg brought up a stealth tax that could affect everyone. The income tax threshold freeze. Freezing the threshold is essentially a tax hike as inflation pushes people into higher brackets. He reminded viewers that when the Tories implemented this freeze, Labour criticised it. Yet now it seems they're set to do the same thing. So, what's your take on all of this? Is the Labour Party's working people tax promise really protecting workers? Or are we seeing a redefinition of promises as we head into budget season? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's get a discussion going. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more breakdowns on politics, news, and everything in between.